Welcome back. This is the second video for the first class. It's going to go over the first assignment, which will be sculpting a simple organic object, which will be an apple. We're going to do an overview of the three brushes that we talked about on the first video. Standard brush. Standard brush is one of the most basic brush and versatile brush in ZBrush. Also, clay build-up brush, and it's an excellent brush to build up form and create rough shape. And then the smooth brush, which is you can activate it with pressing the shift button, and this helps to smooth out any bumps, reduce roughness, blend the surface of your model. And also the move tool brush, which I use a lot too, is just to move big shapes, proportions, just to try to capture the initial form of our model. And I'm also gonna show you new things that wasn't discussed on the first video, how to activate symmetry and how to mask certain areas so when you're brushing it doesn't affect that area. All right, so let's the fun begin. So to start off from this mesh, we're just going to use a sphere. You can just click on a sphere. And initially, when you try to go in the edit mode, because I know when you first open ZBrush, the edit mode will be off. So it's going to give you a warning, making sure you know it's going to be 2.5D mode. So when you first, I'm going to Control N to delete this canvas. When you first come in, it's going to be, the edit mode will be off for the most part, and when you drop it, nothing's going to move. You know, when you try to move, it's going to create all this weirdness. So again, like the first video, drop the sphere and click edit mode. Now you can toggle. And again, you click on Alt and either tap on the pen or the left mouse button. You can move the object. You release Alt with the pen still on the tablet. You can zoom in, zoom out, or with the left click mouse button held, you can zoom in, zoom out. And then to rotate, it feels more organic and fluid when you're using a pen. To rotate, you just tap the pen and just drag it across the tablet. Or on the mouse, you click on the left mouse button while holding it, just move it left and right, or and up and down. Okay, and then you can hold Shift and hold Shift and tap on the pen in the tablet, and it'll snap it to a certain view. So it can be front, side, back, and that's really good if you're if you're zooming, playing, and you just want to bring everything back to a certain view instead of just rotating manually. And the first thing we can do with Apple is use the move tool just to shape it up like an apple, and then bring the bottom part similar to what an apple looks like. So we're going to click the move tool. You can use move. There's different types of move tool. Move it's a little rougher. It's really good at if you're just trying to just move things left and right. What I like is either move elastic or move topologic. It has a better fall off, so it's not as destructive. So now when you try to click and scope the mesh, it's going to give you a warning, because all the meshes, initial meshes, is not 3D primitive yet. So to make it 3D primitive, you gotta go make 3D polymesh right here. So let me click this out to remove it. Okay, click this. Okay, and then instead of if you're working on this, it made a new model right here, and then I'm just gonna rename this to Apple. Okay, Now you can move it and edit. But since this is not traditional sculpting, it's digital, we can easily turn on symmetry and just concentrate on half of the model, unless the design dictate some differences between left and right. To activate symmetry, you can press X, as you can see, and then X is to turn off. You can also activate symmetry under the the transform tool. There's a section called activate symmetry, and here you can change it to X, Y, or Z. We'll talk about posable symmetry when we start posing our characters, and this is just to mirror the symmetry. So for the most part, 90% of the time, you can just use X. So you can easily just press the X button, to the hotkey for it, to toggle on and off. And the reference for our project is this one right here. And this is just a rough reference. It doesn't have to be exact. We'll talk about how to use image plane later in the week. This week I'm mainly just more concerned about just everyone just getting used to the interface, using the common 4 brushes, standard, clay, smooth, and move, and then just playing around with symmetry, and then we'll learn how to import a cylinder for the stem. So the only requirement is just the stem and then the apple. And if you feel like you have extra time or you want to explore, you can feel free just you can make a new mesh for the leaf too. But let's get started. Okay, let's turn on symmetry. To adjust the draw size, you can do here. You can press B. Space, to adjust the draw size. Or I've set up a hotkey for my tablet pen, where one of the click is actually the space button. Okay. Alright, let's start pulling this. I'm just using the move tool just to pull it. Just move some, using shift to toggle the initial brush, the move tool, to smooth. Let's play around with just going back and forth, just moving, smoothing, moving, and smoothing. It's looking more like a molar right now, but we'll get there. Okay. Initially I just mainly just use the move tool and just rotating it thoroughly. We're building this image to work in all angles, so it's always good to just constantly keep moving around. There's going to be a lot of making a stroke, smoothing it out, making another stroke. It's don't be afraid to start making strokes, erasing what you did. It's just part of the process of sculpting. It's very loose, very fluid. Okay, and I'm pressing B to access the brush, and the quick pick are the common brushes that people use. We'll talk about how to customize what kind of brush you want and create kind of easier access for that. But for the most part, all the brushes that we use should be up here. Okay. This is the standard brush where it's just building a form. Let's increase it. Just wanna add a little. Clay buildup. It's more about it's similar to in traditional clay where you just keep adding more clay on top of it. So it's adding rough forms into it. So it's really good at building up form. And my technique is I'll use this. It looks very rough, and then just go in and just smooth it down. Let me reduce the intensity. Let's do it all. Okay. Right there. Okay. Okay. Just keep adding form. It's a slow building up process. Right now, we're just going to use whatever subdivision is provided originally for the sphere. Usually people get in trouble in ZBrushes when they start subdividing it too soon, and it just gets very hard to manage with all the millions of polygons. Because the main and most important aspect of sculpting is the foundation and the overall general large scale shape. And then after you get that, you can go in and add all the secondary detail. Okay. Let's bring that in a little bit. A little more clinch. Okay. Oh, that's got deformed. And you can also Control Z too if you want to go back. Okay, I can noodle this for hours, but let's just say we're happy with this. Okay. And you want to proceed in making the little divot section. You can go in and do sub for the move tool, or even the standard brush. As you can see, whatever setting you apply on the other brush, it's going to keep it just for that brush. So earlier I did sub for the move tool, and then when I went to standard, it reverted back to whatever standard was previously. So I can do sub, and push that in. A hotkey for pushing things, the opposite of whatever this setting is you hold Alt while you're on. If you hold Alt outside of the model, it's just going to move the model. But if you hold Alt and the model is directly in front of you, so right now I have sub, so it's pushing it out. As you can see, there's a negative little marker on there. And then when I release all, it goes in. So the same thing. So same thing when I do Z add. I tend to just leave it just either or, and then just use the Alt button to activate the opposite of that. Let's push this down. Okay. Let's say I'm happy with that. It's a little bumpy. Okay. Let's say I'm happy with that and I just want to add the stem. You can go to a pin, bring in a cylinder right here, and right now as you bring in a subtool, right now this subtool is being selected, so whatever stroke you're making is only affecting that subtool. So you have to be toggling back and forth, and it'll highlight whatever which subtool is activated. So let's do this one. This is going to be our stem, so let's rename it to stem. Alright, so we know standard, clay buildup, smooth, and move. The move brush is good if you're moving a couple of verts, but let's say if you want to move the whole object. For this instance, I want to move the whole object here, bring it up there, and scale it down. There is a transformation tool. It's up here called Move, Scale, and Rotate. The hotkey is W, E, and R. So for this stem, I just gotta click Move. And the Move Tool Manipulator should show up. So it's similar to what Maya Manipulator is. So you can move up and down. You don't have to go back and activate Scale or Rotate, because you can just activate through here. You can rotate here, and then you can scale here. Just like in Maya, if you want to move your pivot, you have to unlock it. So this is, click this, and you can just move the pivot up and down. So for this instance, I'll just move the bottom. And before you start adjusting the scale, the rotation, you have to lock it back. Okay. And this is, reset. This is mesh to axis unlock. You can just play around with this. But for the most part, I just use unlock. If you want to rotate all the subtool together, you can just activate this right here, and now they're all rotate along the manipulator. But for this instance, I'm just wanting to scale the cylinder to become the stem. So I move up, select this scale yellow box, and with the pin I can drag in and out to scale it, or with the mouse button I can just click and hold the left mouse button and drag and push and pull. Okay. Let's do that, and I just want to scale. You can scale along the axis too. So here, scale it up. Okay. Add a little tilt, bring it down. And then when you're happy with that, just make sure to go back to draw. And now you can start sculpting this. So I'm just going to press V, press M, and then access the move tool. This one, so I just press T. And then I go in there. Since I want the sim to feel organic, I'm not turning on symmetry for this instance. Okay, and then if you want to go back and work on the apple, you click on here, or you can click Alt and click. Oh, it's not working. Let's see. Okay. Alt and just double tap with your pin, and then it should select it. Okay. Just want to go back, fix this bump using the smooth tool. Okay. Maybe add a little divot here. All right. Let's fix this. Yeah, sometimes when one view works, the other one might not work. So it's always good to just constantly rotate your model and your scope. And then the last tool I want to talk about is the mask tool. To activate the mask, you hold Control, and then you can drag across the mesh right here. And that means when you're sculpting, it'll mask out that part, so your stroke won't affect that mask section. And right now, when you're doing the mask, it's a little bit rough because the model is very low. If you want to kind of create a nice little fall off of it, you click Control to activate the mask, and you just tap on the mesh with your pen, or click it with the left mouse button. There. And this will just give it a nice fall off. So click outside to create a square, or if you want to draw the mask. So for this instance, I kind of want to create a little crevice here. I would draw the mask kind of here, here, maybe here. And I want this section to come down, so I need to invert the mask. To invert the mask, you click and hold the Control, and then just tap outside. Tap outside. Yeah, tap outside. Okay. So white means it's going to be affected by your stroke. And then now I'm going to click and hold the Control button, tap the apple to soften the mask, and using the standard brush, I'll just push it down. Push that section down. So let me just give it some more. Okay, push it down. That's too much. That's too little. Okay, push it down. And then just without the Control button, you just to remove the mask, all you need to do is just click Control and drag the square outside, and that will remove the mask. And that's a little crevice there. You can go back with this smooth brush and to smooth that section out, just give it more of a neutral look.